Thank you for watching This Is Now. We begin with this new at noon. Today, a federal appeals court has ruled that Hawaii can continue enforcing bans on carrying firearms in some public places, such as bars, beaches, and banks. Back in 2022, the U.S. Supreme Court made a significant change to the Second Amendment, which affected state laws that restricted the public carry of firearms. In response, Governor Josh Green signed Act 52 into law, which banned guns in so-called sensitive places. Then last year, a U.S. District Court judge issued a preliminary injunction halting Act 52. Now, the decision today by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals almost entirely reinstates Hawaii's law. In a statement, the Attorney General's office said, quote, "Hawaii's gun safety laws are grounded in common sense, and we will fight vigorously to protect them."
Now, this comes as the violence out in West Oahu continues because Honolulu police are investigating yet another shooting, this time in Maili. Just before 2 this morning, HPD officers were called out to the scene near Maili Beach Park. You can see the parking lot blocked off there. Police say a 41-year-old man was shot multiple times. EMS arrived on scene and needed to give him advanced life support before rushing him to the hospital. The suspect is on the run today, and the investigation is ongoing. Meanwhile, another West Oahu attempted murder case is also ongoing. Officers were called out around 6 p.m. yesterday to the Makaha Gateway Shopping Center off of Farrington Highway. Details right now are limited, but we're told a 46-year-old man was arrested after some sort of traffic incident. EMS says they did not treat any patients and have no reports of injuries. Now to the latest on the deadly Waianae shooting. We've learned that authorities had the chance to rein in on illegal activity by the Waianae man who shot 5 people last weekend before being shot himself. This is video of an unpermitted concert held on the property of Hiram Silva 3 years ago. The party got out of control, leading to a hit and run and assault. The wife of the man who shot and killed Silva on Saturday, Ellison Karnate, wrote a letter to police and elected officials back in 2021, begging them to crack down on these illegal parties. A state lawmaker who passed that letter to city officials says they should have done more.
I feel like this should have been addressed in 2021, and we're seeing the repercussions of not taking action quicker.
When no one seems to care if you violate laws or ordinances, no one cares. So you just do whatever you feel like doing. And he was doing it for years, apparently.
The city said it did cite Silva for the unpermitted event, but the venue remained in operation until Saturday night. The police department filed reports about the 2021 assault and car accident, but did not make any arrests. Now to national news, where the 14-year-old alleged shooter in Wednesday's deadly attack at a high school in Georgia, along with his father, both remain in custody following their initial court appearances in separate hearings today. The shooting killed 4 people and left 9 others injured. Dave Malkoff reports from a memorial site for the victims.
14-year-old Colt Gray sat and listened as the judge in Winder, Georgia, went over the charges against him.
I want to make sure that you are aware that you have the right to remain silent. You don't have to say anything at all.
The teenager faces 4 counts of murder for Wednesday's shooting that killed 2 teachers and 2 students at Appalachia High School. The district attorney says his office expects to file more charges against the defendant in connection with the 9 people injured in the attack. Shortly after his son's hearing, 54-year-old Colin Gray faced charges including second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter. CBS News has learned investigators believe he bought the AR-style rifle used in the shooting that appears to be in this video as a gift for his son. The purchase was made in December and came after both of them assured deputies in May of 2023 that the teen had not made any school shooting threats. CBS News has obtained audio of that interview.
You're saying that you didn't say anything like that, and I got to take you at your word, and I hope you're being honest with me.
Yes,
I'm not saying you're lying, but it's not unusual for people to lie to the police. Okay.
He's familiar with that too.
And back here at Appalachia High School, there's a second part of this story playing out where students, faculty, friends, strangers are showing up at these growing memorials to those students and teachers who died here.
We're praying for everyone and take this situation and just say love prevails.
A community trying to support one another as it grapples with a senseless tragedy. Dave Malkoff, CBS News, Winder, Georgia.
And in Oregon, search crews continue to look for a missing woman who just got married on Oahu last week. Melissa Jubain was reported missing after she didn't show up for work on Wednesday. The 32-year-old lives with her husband, Brian Yantero, in the Portland suburb of Beaverton. Yantero is from Hawaii and is stationed in Washington state with the military. We're told his brother has traveled to Oregon to help find his sister-in-law.
The city is halfway finished with an overdue overhaul of the security camera system in Chinatown. It's a $1 million project, half covered by federal funding. Ben Gutierrez tells us what those cameras do.
If you're walking around Chinatown, chances are you're going to be on a camera. One of 60 new security cameras being installed in Chinatown to replace an aging system that mostly stopped working years ago. 30 of the high-resolution cameras have been installed so far, and the city says they're a big improvement over the old analog system installed more than 25 years ago. One camera is on the corner of Mauna Kea and Pauahi streets.
Right in front of my big open door.
Sam Say of MP Lay Shop remembers the old camera system, which was occasionally monitored in real time by police or volunteers in Chinatown.
There, the guy on the middle of the road is dancing, is jumping, and then police officer, oh yeah, I saw him. I saw him. But then maybe a few years later, when the second time I went back, I tell them, and they said, oh, but that camera not working anymore.
By 2021, out of the 26 cameras, 20 of them weren't working. The new cameras are high-tech. They can look 360 degrees and can track movement. They also have LED lights and sirens. The city says HPD can make announcements through a speaker system, and the digital recording is stored for 30 days.
If major crime is done, some type of shooting or murder, it's caught on camera. And that's the main thing. So long as they can use that as evidence in the courtrooms, I'm happy with that.
I think it's a great initiative. But, the bottom line question is, will it be a deterrent to all what's happening in Chinatown, like the last incident where the guy whacks the guy with a stick?
This is video of that incident a week ago near the Kapiolani Mall. The Chinese Chamber of Commerce says the victim was a 75-year-old Chinatown businessman. He had recovered a bag of rice that the attacker had stolen from him earlier. There wasn't a working surveillance camera there.
Let's assume there was a camera that was operational. Would it have curtailed that incident?
The city did fund a Chinatown task force that increased the police presence and led to a drop in drug and misdemeanor crimes. HPD says it's still working on plans for camera monitoring. Merchants say it's giving them a higher sense of security.
We're very happy, we have one right in front of our store, yes.
The city says it plans to have the remaining 30 cameras installed by the end of the year. In Chinatown, Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.
Nurses at Kapiolani Medical Center are hoping to meet for contract talks at least one more time as they try to avoid going on a one-day strike next Friday. The Hawaii Nurses Association was at the bargaining table with Kapiolani for nearly 8 hours on Thursday. a day after the hospital threatened to lock out nurses who walk the picket line until they unconditionally accept the hospital's contract offer. The union says a main sticking point is making sure the hospital is following national staffing standards across all units and specialty departments.
We take care of the sickest of sick, save lives, hold patients' hands, hold family members' hands as their child passes away. If that was their family member in, do you think they would lock us out, or would they want us to go in there and take care of their family member?
The union believes the lockout would violate the National Labor Relations Act, but Kapiolani's managers say they are confident the lockout is legal. Former President Donald Trump spent the first part of the day off the campaign trail tending to legal matters in New York. In one case, he scored a temporary win. In another, he listened to his attorneys appeal the $5 million judgment in a lawsuit brought on by writer E. Jean Carroll. Natalie Brand has the latest.
A legal victory for former President Trump as New York Judge Juan Merchan agreed to delay sentencing in Trump's hush money criminal case. It had been set for later this month, but is now postponed until after Election Day. Merchan wrote that he made the decision, quote, to avoid any appearance, however unwarranted, that the proceeding has been affected by or seeks to affect the approaching presidential election in which the defendant is a candidate. It comes as Trump continues to fight a $5 million judgment that found him liable of sexually abusing magazine columnist E. Jean Carroll.
This was election interference. It all is. It's all fabricated.
The Republican presidential nominee attended an appeal hearing in the case Friday, where his attorneys argued the verdict should be tossed out because of inadmissible evidence.
I was found guilty of something that I didn't do with a woman that I have never seen, touched, or in any way was involved with, nor would I want to be.
These latest legal developments come just days before his first presidential debate with his new opponent, Vice President Kamala Harris.
I don't think she'll be very good, and I feel I have an obligation to do it.
The Democratic presidential nominee spent the day in Pittsburgh preparing for the matchup, while Trump flew to the battleground state of North Carolina to address the Fraternal Order of Police. The nation's largest police labor organization officially endorsed Trump Friday. The Harris and Walz campaign rolled out their own endorsements from dozens of law enforcement officials who called the ticket their choice to keep communities safe. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
The latest jobs report comes in slightly under expectations, but up from last month. Experts say all signs point to a cooling labor market, signaling that it may be stabilizing. Bradley Blackburn breaks it down.
A late summer bounce is shining a little bit of sun on the jobs market. Labor Department data out Friday show the U.S. added 142,000 jobs in August, up from a revised and disappointing 89,000 in July. Construction tacked on 34,000 jobs, getting a boost from heavy and civil engineering work in the bipartisan infrastructure law. Healthcare added 31,000 jobs. Unemployment ticked down to 4.2%, the first dip since March.
The labor market is definitely in transition because we were so overheated coming out of COVID.
That shift was noticeable at this recent jobs fair.
There's almost an equal number of people looking as there was for jobs. So I'm seeing the pendulum really kind of swing back towards the middle.
You just got to keep grinding.
Editor Steve Sachs has been living off unemployment and his savings since May as he looks for work in production.
Work is a little scarce and I think it's slowly picking up, but I know I have colleagues that are still out of work and looking or just starting jobs.
This is the last jobs report before the Federal Reserve's big meeting in September, and it tees up the Fed to issue a long-awaited rates cut.
The time has come for policy to adjust.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell has indicated he's ready to act.
It is highly likely that the Federal Reserve will begin its rate cut campaign with a 0.25 percentage point. I know a lot of people are waiting and hoping to see big, huge cuts. It's just not going to happen yet.
And while wage growth is ahead of inflation right now, it doesn't make up for the price surges that started in 2022, leaving many Americans to still play catch up. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
All right, let's take a live look outside with our tower cam. We're looking out at Kaka'ako on this Aloha Friday. 84 degrees outside, but it sure feels hotter. Although the trade winds are returning, is what I'm told. We're going to have a check on your forecast after this quick break.
Let's go ahead and give you your forecast for today. Partly to mostly cloudy skies. That's what you'll experience. We'll get the trade winds back for the weekend, but no trades today. We'll talk about in a few moments. A front is approaching, and that's the reason why we'll lose those trade winds. But this front, the moisture will affect mostly Kauai coming up Monday night into the next couple of days. Here's what we got for the surf. This is on the way down the North Shore, 4 to 6, flat to 2 over on the west side. Town spots are small, and over on the east-facing shoreline, 2 to 4, choppy, sloppy. But this will get bigger as the trade winds pick up coming up this weekend. So today, 90 degrees, partly sunny skies, light trade wind weather. You can see mostly in the single digits for the morning, and then we get to the double digits in the afternoon. But it's going to be more of the 10 in the 10 to 20 mile per hour range. Now, once we get past that, here's your forecast. Lighter trades today, as we mentioned. Windward and Mauka showers, drier trends Saturday and Sunday. But notice those trade winds do come up. By the time we reach Monday, here comes the front. It's only going to affect Kauai, so the rest of us will get this kind of weather here on Monday and Tuesday, but Kauai is going to be the one to get the showers, and then we'll lose that coming up Wednesday, Thursday. Once again, that front will move on. It'll pull back, actually, and then we'll get some nice weather here. Thursday, the trade winds will be back. Hey, get the latest on air, online, on your mobile device, and at hawaiinewsnow.com.
Scientists with the European Climate Service just issued a new report warning that the world is on track for the hottest year ever. Temperature tracking revealed the planet just witnessed its hottest summer since record-keeping began. Tina Kraus has the story.
Millions have been sweltering as record heat waves across the globe have delivered the hottest summer on record. Folks in Phoenix are used to the heat, but the city has sizzled with triple-digit temps for 102 days in a row.
This continues a series of global temperature records that started more than a year ago.
Dr. Julian Nicholas with the European Climate Service Copernicus says the average global temperature this summer was just over 62 degrees, shattering the old record set just last year.
It is a clear sign that the climate is rapidly warming.
Climate scientists say unless countries reduce their planet-heating greenhouse gas emissions, extreme weather will only become more intense.
By a heat wave, tropical storms, some extreme precipitation, some drought.
In Sudan, flooding from heavy rains last month affected more than 300,000 people and brought cholera to the war-torn country. And across the world, people are dying from the heat as temperatures reach lethal levels in some spots.
Actions need to be taken urgently.
Experts say the torrid temperatures of 2024 will likely break one more record, making this the planet's warmest year yet. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Now to the latest drama involving Boeing's troubled Starliner spacecraft. It will be returning home to Earth tonight from the International Space Station, but it will be flying home without astronauts due to safety concerns. Mark Strassman has the latest.
And liftoff of Starliner and Atlas V.
Starliner's saga is almost over. 3 months after helium leaks and engine problems paralyzed the first crewed flight test of Boeing's new spaceship.
Of course, it's bittersweet to be packing up Starliner and putting our simulators in our seats, but we want to do the best we can to make sure she's in good shape. We want her to have a nice soft landing in the desert.
NASA decided Starliner will return to Earth without its crew, despite Boeing's confidence in the ship's safety.
We view the data and the uncertainty that's there differently than Boeing does.
Starliner's engines are housed in 4 insulated compartments around its service module. NASA believes when those thrusters fire too rapidly and spend time pointed at the sun, the compartments can get too hot, causing some engines to overheat and lose thrust.
We just don't know how much we can use the thrusters on the way back home before we encounter a problem.
Flight controllers will remotely command Starliner's undocking with fewer thruster firings. Starliner, flying autonomously, must perform the critical braking burn on the return to Earth, then separate from its service module and re-enter the Earth's atmosphere for a touchdown under parachutes. That will mark the end of Starliner's mission. But its crew, Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams, has another 5 months to go.
I certainly think they have the tougher challenge than I did.
NASA astronaut Frank Rubio can relate. In 2022, his Russian Soyuz ship sprung a leak while docked to the ISS, turning a planned 6-month mission into a record 371-day odyssey.
I think going from 6 months to 12 months is tough, but it's not as tough as going from 8 days to 8 months.
Have you talked to Sonny and Butch about it, given them any advice?
Yes, we have spoken. They're doing great. Certainly, there's a little part of you that's disappointed. It's okay to acknowledge that, but you also can't mope around for the entire time, right? You just have to kind of dedicate and rededicate yourself to the mission.
Wilmore and Williams will return on a SpaceX capsule in February. Starliner's future is less certain. Mark Strassman, CBS News at the Johnson Space Center.
The 80-year-old billionaire who owns Waianae could soon control the parent company of CBS. An FCC filing shows Larry Ellison is backing his son David's $8 billion bid to buy National Amusements Incorporated, the company which owns Paramount, which also owns CBS. The filing shows Larry Ellison would become a majority shareholder and the one with the real power. The Ellisons say they plan to bolster the online presence of 28 CBS-owned TV stations. KGMB is not one of them. The merger is expected to close next year. Well, thousands are expected this Saturday for Meabon, which is one of the largest Bon Dance events here on Oahu. This year, organizers promise an improved layout with more vendors, keiki activities, and even a beer garden, along with so much more. Our Casey Lund has a preview.
Aloha from Aloha Stadium, sort of the calm before the storm. Saturday at 4, this place is going to be packed. Last year was the first year for Meabon, a big community Bon Dance. I want to talk to Jenna Nakagawa with us, a co-chair, and you have a special guest with you. Can you tell us who you have here?
Yes, so I have Mitsuki here. She's from our sister chapter in Osaka, Japan.
And tell me a little bit about how you guys collaborate to make this a really authentic Bon Dance celebration.
So we definitely can't do it alone. So we did go to our sister chapter in Japan because they're very, very versed in how Bon Dance works. So we kind of combined our efforts and we made Meabon happen.
I love that. Tell me a little bit about last year. You guys were admittedly a little overwhelmed. It was a good thing. The turnout you had, I think, somewhere around 15,000 people. But you maybe weren't ready for those numbers. We're ready this year.
Yes, so we were definitely not ready for 15,000 last year. We were expecting maybe about 5,000 or so, but we're super lucky. So we learned from last year. We're a little bit more prepared this year, actually a lot more prepared this year. We expanded the venue to over double the size. We have a bigger beer garden, we have a bigger dance circle, we have more performance groups, and of course taiko.
What's your favorite part of a Bon Dance celebration? I mean, it's really a community event, so many people coming together from all walks of life, right?
I love it because it's good for all ages, keiki to kupuna. Everybody has something that they might be interested in, whether it's shopping or eating or even dancing.
Yeah, and speaking of dancing, let's put up on the screen the details for the event starting around 4:15, I think around 4. Get here a little early. That's the first portion of the Bon Dance, and then there's halftime, second portion, and then at 8:15, what?
It's a drum show by Sky Elements Hawaii.
Awesome. That'll be something cool to see. Jenna, and really quickly, could you walk us through some of the merch that we have here?
Yeah, so these are all going to be available at our Hawaii Todaiji booth and our JCI Honolulu booth. We have some Meabon towels, of course, our tote bags. We also have some doggy happy coats as well.
I love it.
And of course, some light up items for the night. So we have our light up fans. This is going to be our light up mask. And then we have some things for the temple as well, which is like our emma, as well as our omikuji.
Can you say that one more time?
Omikuji.
Omikuji. I had mine, and I had apparently very good luck.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'm excited, and I'm hoping that you guys have good luck for tomorrow with the weather, maybe some trade winds, not as hot as last Saturday, and certainly no rain. If you missed any of the details, again, we have all of them listed at hawaiinewsnow.com. For now, we'll send things back into the studio.
Oh, Casey, he always gets the fun stories.
I know. Bon Dance is so fun. I love it.
Yeah, and I might try and make it out there, but before we go to Meabon, there's something else happening. The Aloha Festivals, their opening ceremony is happening at the Royal Hawaiian from 4 to 6, and I'm writing Pa'u this year, as you know, and so we will be there to present Ho'okupu to the Royal Court, and then after that, I'm probably going to go to Meabon.
Busy weekend.
Yes, definitely. We hope to see you out and about enjoying this weekend. Have a lovely rest of your Aloha Friday.
Aloha.